everyone, I'm Trish Dare with Dare Realty Group, and I'm so glad you're joining me today because I am going to be going over the latest real estate statistics that we have for our area. Now that 2024 is over, we're going to be taking a deep dive into the December 2024 numbers for the Raleigh, North Carolina area, including the surrounding towns of Cary, Apex, and Holly Springs. I'm going to compare those numbers to December 2024 and then make sure you stay to the end because I have some predictions for 2025. I'm also going to be sharing some market insight that I just received from Dr. Yoon, who is the chief economist of the National Association of Realtors. And so I'm going to be sharing some of his predictions as far as interest rates and where the market's heading. All right, let's jump into the December 2024 numbers, and we're going to start with the town of Raleigh. So now Raleigh is a pretty big area, so I'm going to break down the numbers into two parts. I'm going to give you numbers for all of Raleigh, and then I'm going to include just the luxury market of Raleigh, which would be all homes over $750,000. And the reason I'm doing this is if you are familiar with Raleigh, or maybe you aren't familiar with Raleigh, it's a pretty large geographic area, and it encompasses a lot of areas that have been annexed in over the years, some rural areas, and then of course you have the downtown areas. Raleigh had a median home sale of $475,000, and that's up about 10% over last year. With that, we had a median days on market for about 24 days, so that's up about 14%. Meaning that buyers are taking a little longer to make decisions, but they are making decisions and homes are selling pretty quickly. Even despite that number going up, we see that median house price going up, meaning that our market is still very strong. In December, we had about 1,200 homes to sell within the Raleigh area. And we had about a 2.4 month supply of inventory. So that's just saying that our inventory level is going up a little bit. It's still down 2% from last year, so we still are in a seller's market. But again, it is taking a little longer for homes to sell, but they are selling, fairly quickly, less than 30 days. Okay, let's move on to Cary. Cary remains one of the top areas for families moving to the area. It has a lot to do with the great neighborhoods, the great schools, and just, overall quality of life. The median home price in Cary was $605,000. Now that is up about 5% over last year. But the interesting thing is that the days on the market is up 155%. So days on the market is about 23 days. Now, when you look back a couple of years ago, you kind of go, okay, well, yeah, 23 days doesn't seem like a lot. But a couple of years ago, the houses were selling in, 23 minutes. So you could see why that 155% is the way it is. So what does this mean for sellers? So as a seller, I think you just need to have your expectations that it may take a little longer for your home to sell. Although we are seeing homes that are priced well and in good condition, they are still selling within a day or two, some of them with multiple offers. But, I think you just have to say, it could take a little bit longer. But, the good news is that when we look at the statistical averages from the previous year, houses are still selling about 98% of list price. And when we look at active inventory, the active inventory in Cary in the month of December was only 159 properties, which is super low. So that was down about 1% over the previous year. And then when we look at months of supply, we're about 1.3 months, which is down 13%. So again, very low inventory, still very much a seller's market. We have a balanced market when it's like 4 to 5, possibly 6 months of inventory. Next, we have the charming town of Apex. Apex median home price in December 2024 was $576,000. Now that's up about 10% over the previous year. Again, days on the market is increasing. It's up about 92% in Apex with an average day on the market for 25 days. Again, homes are just taking a little bit longer to sell, but they are selling, and they are selling pretty close to list price. The months of inventory for Apex is 1.3 months, and that is up 60% over December 2023. Now that's a real interesting stat if you really think about it. Up 60%, and it's still only 1.3 months, meaning that we really had no inventory. So, Apex is still a very attractive town for buyers coming in. It has a lot to offer as far as parks, schools, great neighborhoods. So I would say if you're a home buyer looking to move really into any of the areas in Cary or Apex and Holly Springs, if you find something you like, you really do need to move fast because houses are selling pretty quickly, especially, like I said, when they're in great condition and priced well. The median house price in Holly Springs is $624,000. Now that's down about 1% over December 2023. And what's kind of interesting when I look at these numbers is that historically Holly Springs has always been a less expensive alternative to Cary and Apex. So it's now trending higher when you look at the median price. And that can really be partly because of some of the businesses coming to the area and some of the new construction that's getting built out in the town. And so that could be driving that median house price a little bit higher, or it could just be that, the houses just took a little bit longer to appreciate. Very similar to Apex and Cary, the average day on the market in Holly Springs is about 27 days. The inventory level is in December had 74 homes on the market. And then again, that month of supplies is about 1.3. So again, very low months of supplies, meaning again that, it's still pretty competitive. There's not a lot on the market. So buyers do need to act fast if they're looking to purchase in any of these towns. Okay, let's shift gears a little bit and talk about the luxury market in Raleigh. As I mentioned earlier, I wanted to break out Raleigh into a luxury segment as well, just because the average price point of all of Raleigh is in the 400s. I wanted to make sure that we were addressing the luxury market, as I do primarily focus on luxury, although I help buyers and sellers in all markets. The luxury market here is starting to grow, and we see that with Raleigh. So now Raleigh, the median price for homes over 750 was $1,013,000, and that has increased about 1.5% over the previous year. Homes are selling in about 21 days, which is about 46% under what they sold the previous year. Now, I would say that in the Raleigh market, we are seeing a lot of new construction homes, and that's why I think this inventory level of 3 months of supply is going up. It's up about, it's actually down about 30% over the previous year, but I think that months of supply is a little bit higher just because we have seen a lot of new construction and those price points are tending to be higher. However, the luxury market continues to stay strong. So what's ahead for 2025? What can we expect in the upcoming year? So recently I had the opportunity to be part of a private mastermind group in which Dr. Young spoke to us. Now, Dr. Young is the chief economist of the National Association of Realtors, and he had some interesting things to say about our past and about our future. Dr. Young is predicting that we'll see home prices increase moderately over the next year across most of the markets in the US. He said that, we're not going to see anything like we saw during the pandemic era. In fact, he shared this chart with us that shows home price increases from 2020 to 2024. And as you can see across the whole country, home prices really did increase significantly. And if we focus on North Carolina, you can see that the home prices grew about 66% during that time. Now, I would say, what we've seen here in the Raleigh, North Carolina area, we've seen increase in price over the last year from 5 to 10%, depending on what town you're in. And so I think we will continue to see that again this year as more and more people are moving to the area. He did talk a little bit about interest rates as well, and I know that's something that everyone's always curious about. So he feels that interest rates are going to stabilize mid-year. He thinks that they're going to fall anywhere from 6 to 6.5%, maybe a little bit more than that. But I think the thing to take away from this is that we don't expect interest rates to go to that 4 or 5% interest rate level anytime soon. So I think that's really important. He did indicate that he thinks the Fed is going to lower rates twice, maybe 4 times this year, probably closer to the 2, so that it'll keep the interest rates in the 6s. He also talked briefly about the inventory levels. And, as we saw here in our market, the inventory levels are starting to improve. They are going up a little bit. They're still really low, but inventory levels are increasing across the country. But I feel like that's a good thing, especially here in our market. We had such limited inventory that I think it was really hard for buyers. There was multiple offers on a ton of properties. And so it just gives more opportunity for buyers. And then also for sellers, it gives a lot more opportunity for sellers because now, there's somewhere for them to go. And I think that was a big hesitation the last couple of years for sellers, causing our low inventory, because most sellers who were somewhat happy with their home decided to maybe stay and remodel just because they were afraid to sell because they didn't know where they were going to go next. So what does this all mean for you if you're a buyer or seller? Well, real estate is like the weather. It's different anywhere you go. I can say that the Raleigh market continues to be strong, and a lot of that has to do with our great economy. We have a lot of great businesses here. We have good job growth. We have a lot of companies that are coming to town. And so we have a very vibrant community. We have a good quality of life. The weather's good. Overall great place to live, great education, great universities. So I feel like that's going to continue. So if you are a buyer that's looking to buy in the next month, next 6 months, next year, or a seller, I think the market is going to remain good for you this year. If you have any questions about maybe what the timing is like or what's good for your particular situation, feel free to reach out to me. I would be happy to have a conversation with you. You can schedule a consult via my website, Dare Realty Group, and I'm going to leave a link in the chat below. Or you can always text, call, or email me. I will also put my contact information up on the screen so you have that handy. And then just finally in closing, I just want to say thanks for joining me today on this video. If you like what you heard, please subscribe to my channel and hit the like and notification buttons so that you are kept up to any of the important information that I'm putting out about the Raleigh, North Carolina area. And just wanted to say thanks again for stopping by, and we'll see you on the next video.